Imagine waking up one ordinary morning, reaching into an old drawer, and realizing the quarter you tossed aside decades ago is now worth $986,000. Sounds unbelievable, right? Yet that is exactly the reality surrounding a rare and extraordinary 1978 no-mint mark Washington quarter error that has shaken the collector world and created life-changing wealth for the person who discovers one. Today, I'm going to take you deep into the story, because if you're holding onto old coins or thinking about selling rare American currency, you cannot afford to miss what comes next. Act 1 begins with a simple truth: most fortunes don't start with million-dollar business ideas, many start with hidden treasures people have ignored for years. That's why this 1978 no-mint mark Washington quarter error has become the center of intense excitement across the country. While millions of quarters flowed from the U.S. Mint that year, something unusual happened in a limited batch, a production oversight that erased the mint mark entirely. At the time, no one noticed. No alarms. No news. Just quiet circulation until sharp-eyed collectors started spotting details that didn't match any known minting records. Suddenly, this forgotten piece of metal became a ticket to wealth. And here's the twist: these rare errors often sit inside old boxes, jars, and folders in people's homes right now. Maybe even yours. As we move into the heart of the story, Act 2, let's talk about what makes this particular coin so electrifying in today's market. The absence of the mint mark isn't just a defect, it's a signature of rarity, a silent stamp of uniqueness. Collectors fight for coins like this because they represent the unpredictable beauty of U.S. minting history. And when demand meets scarcity, the price skyrockets fast. That's why the market has now placed a staggering current value of $986,000 on the cleanest, highest grade examples of this 1978 no-mint mark error. Think about that for a second: a coin worth less than a cup of coffee now competing with the price of luxury homes. That's the power of rarity. But let me reset your attention with a quick question: did you ever imagine you could be sitting on a six-figure asset while using it as laundry change? It's funny, but it's happened before. People have accidentally spent rare quarters at vending machines. Don't be that person. The urgency is real because every year coins are lost, damaged, or destroyed, shrinking the supply even more. And when rarity increases, value climbs. You're not just hearing a story, you're witnessing a living market phenomenon still unfolding today. Collectors and investors, especially those who crave financial freedom and a wealth-driven lifestyle, are paying premiums because coins like this represent more than money, they represent legacy. A coin like this carries history, mystery, and the promise of a story worth telling for generations. And this is why serious buyers are actively searching for these 1978 no-mint mark quarters, sometimes offering above market price just to secure one before the next collector does. You're not watching this video by coincidence. You're here because your instincts are tuned to opportunity, and opportunities like this don't wait. Now let's transition into Act 3, where everything connects. What does this mean for you? It means your old coins sitting in boxes, forgotten in closets, or tucked inside your late grandparents' collections may hold more wealth than you've ever imagined. This 1978 quarter is a reminder, a wake-up call, that every rare coin has a story, and every story has value for those who know what they're looking for. The fear of missing out is real because the window to capitalize on these finds doesn't stay open forever. The market moves, collectors compete, and values rise as availability shrinks, but here's the inspiring truth: you have the power to unlock wealth already in your possession. The rare coin market is booming, buyers are hungry, and pieces like the 1978 no-mint mark quarter prove that life-changing money often hides in plain sight. Whether you're planning to sell your rare coins or simply want to understand the world of high-value collectibles, today's story should ignite a spark of possibility. Wealth doesn't always arrive through luck, it often arrives through awareness. As we close, remember this: the people who become wealthy from rare coins aren't just collectors, they're decision makers. They take action when opportunity stands in front of them. And if you own old American coins, even the ones you think are ordinary, today is the day to start looking closer. Because one small quarter could open the doors to a lifestyle of abundance, freedom, and financial transformation. Your future wealth might already be in your hands. The only question now is, will you discover it before someone else does? Imagine waking up one ordinary morning, checking a handful of old coins sitting in a dusty drawer, and discovering that one of them, one simple Washington quarter, could rewrite your entire financial story. Now imagine that same coin being worth a staggering $987,000. Yes, almost $1 million for a 25-cent coin. Sounds unbelievable, right? But in today's video, you're about to uncover the extraordinary truth behind the 1968 no-mint Mark Washington quarter, the coin that has recently sent shockwaves through the collecting world and created life-changing moments for those lucky enough to find one. If you think lightning can't strike twice, stay with me. This might just be the moment it does. Before we dive deeper, let me ask you something. When was the last time you actually really looked at the coins in your home? Not just glanced, but inspected them? Most people never do. And that simple oversight is exactly why rare coins like the 1968 no-mint Mark Washington quarter remain hidden in plain sight. In 1968, the U.S. Mint produced millions of Washington quarters, but only a microscopic handful slipped through without a mint mark, no D, no S, nothing at all. This wasn't supposed to happen. Mint marks are mandatory, and the absence of one in this particular year transforms an ordinary quarter into an extraordinary treasure. Collectors today describe this coin as a ghost, a unicorn, a once-in-a-generation error, and they're not exaggerating. Each year, the demand for this coin grows as collectors, investors, and even wealthy hobbyists compete fiercely to secure one of these ultra-rare errors. And when desire meets scarcity, values explode. That's exactly how we arrived at an unbelievable current market value of $987,000 for a single authenticated example. What makes this story so fascinating is this: coins don't care who you are, where you live, or what your bank account looks like. Wealth, opportunity, and life-changing luck are sitting right there, sometimes literally in your pocket, waiting to be discovered by someone who simply pays attention. Now let's talk about the emotional roller coaster that follows anyone who starts searching seriously for rare coins. First comes excitement. The moment you learn a single quarter could be worth nearly $1 million, suddenly every coin in your home becomes a potential jackpot. You'll feel that electric jolt of possibility every time you flip a coin over. Then comes fear. The fear of missing out. The fear that you've handled dozens of these quarters throughout your life and unknowingly spent them. The fear that someone else might find the treasure that was meant for you. But that fear isn't your enemy, it's your fuel. It's the spark that wakes you up, pushes you to look, and motivates you to take action. Collectors who found their life-changing coins didn't wait. They searched. They checked their inherited jars, their old dressers, their grandparents' boxes. They refused to let hesitation cost them what could be the biggest opportunity of their lives. While others were thinking, they were moving. And let's insert a quick pattern interrupt here, because your attention deserves a reset. Imagine this: you walk into a gas station, hand over a 25-cent quarter for gum, and the cashier casually pockets $1 million. Can you feel your heart dropping? Good. That's why you never overlook your change again. This 1968 no-mint Mark Washington quarter isn't just a rare coin, it's a reminder that opportunity doesn't always knock. Sometimes it dingles quietly in your pocket. Now let's bring everything together. The market for rare coins is surging. Wealthy investors, auction houses, private collectors, and international buyers are competing for high-grade rare errors like never before. Prices are not just strong, they're aggressive. And the 1968 no-mint Mark Washington quarter has become one of the most sought-after pieces, skyrocketing to its current jaw-dropping value of $987,000. But if there was ever a moment to take action, it's now. Don't wait for tomorrow. Don't assume someone else will tell you what you might be missing. The world's wealthiest collectors are moving fast, and the demand for these ultra-rare coins is only rising. If you have old coins at home, you could be sitting on a fortune without realizing it. Think of this video as your turning point, your spark. You're here because you're not satisfied with average. You're here because you want wealth, you want opportunity, and you're ready to step into a lifestyle where your knowledge becomes your advantage. So today, start the search. Open those boxes. Check that jar. Examine every Washington quarter carefully. Don't let hesitation cost you a six-figure opportunity. The people who thrive are the ones who act, not the ones who hope. And if you find that 1968 no-mint Mark Washington quarter, or any rare error, your life could change instantly. From ordinary to exceptional. From curious to successful. From searching to discovering. Imagine waking up, tossing loose change onto your kitchen counter, and realizing one small Washington quarter could rewrite your entire financial future. A single 1986p mint Mark Washington quarter, an overlooked piece of metal most people spend without thinking, has recently been valued as high as $989,000. Yes, you heard that right, a coin worth almost $1 million, hiding in plain sight. And today, we're going to walk through how this extraordinary rarity slipped into circulation, what makes it so intensely valuable, and why now more than ever might be your moment to uncover one. Because the truth is simple, treasures don't disappear. They just wait to be found. Welcome to the story. Act 1 begins with a simple fear, a fear many collectors and everyday Americans share but rarely admit, the fear of missing out on something life-changing that was right in your hands. Picture this. It's 1986. The Philadelphia Mint is striking millions of quarters at lightning pace. The machinery hums like a heartbeat of industry. But during that chaotic rush, something unexpected occurs, an error so subtle most people would never notice, yet so dramatic that its rarity defies the laws of minting probability. Some quarters left the facility with a fascinating, highly coveted minting flaw. This is the moment where ordinary metal transforms into extraordinary opportunity. Before we go further, let me ask a pattern-interrupting question. Have you ever spent a quarter on a parking meter and wondered if that tiny clink might have cost you nearly $1 million? If not, well, welcome to the emotional roller coaster. But don't worry. Today, we're on the winning side of the story. Act 2 lifts us deeper into the excitement. The reason the 1986p error quarter has become a crown jewel of modern numismatics is because its flaw isn't just rare, it's breathtakingly uncommon. Collectors today describe this coin as a spiritual spark in the world of currency, a reminder that mistakes sometimes create miracles. These quarters showcase unique, striking abnormalities that set them apart from the ocean of ordinary change. And the demand? It's exploding. Coin investors, wealth builders, and collectors with deep pockets now see error coins not as collectibles, but as assets, high value, recession-proof, portable pieces of wealth. And let's be honest. There's something addictive about the possibility that the next great fortune isn't buried underground or locked behind a vault, but sitting in your home right now. Maybe in a jar. Maybe in the glove compartment. Maybe even in that drawer everyone calls the random stuff drawer, you know, the one. This leads us to the urgency. The market for rare US error coins is surging. Every month, high-grade errors get bought up at higher and higher valuations. Collectors competing for status. Wealthy buyers chasing prestige. Investors seeking stability in uncertain times. And when the demand rises, the supply grows tighter, which is why the current sale of an authenticated 1986p error quarter reaching $989,000 has become a wake-up call. Coins like this do not wait. They vanish into private collections, sometimes forever. And when that happens, the value surges again. Act 3 brings everything together. This is where excitement becomes transformation. Because the message today isn't just about a rare coin. It's about the opportunity that coins like this represent. Opportunity to unlock wealth. Opportunity to convert forgotten objects into financial leverage. Opportunity to join a world where your knowledge, not your luck, becomes your power. Imagine yourself 6 months from now. Maybe you've searched your drawers, your jars, your childhood coin stash. Maybe you found something. Maybe you've sold it. And maybe, just maybe, you've stepped into the lifestyle you've always envisioned, one defined by security, abundance, and freedom. This is why stories like the 1986p error quarter matter. They remind us that extraordinary outcomes often come from ordinary places. They challenge us to look with sharper eyes. They inspire us to believe that wealth isn't always earned through decades of labor, but sometimes discovered in moments of awareness. Before we close, here's one more humorous pattern interrupt to keep your brain refreshed. If your heart is racing right now, don't worry, that's not a medical emergency. That's just the sound of possibility knocking on your wallet. As we reach the end of this journey, remember this: the world of rare coins isn't a hobby. It's a gateway. A path. A movement of people turning their forgotten change into generational wealth. And the 1986p Washington quarter error, now valued at nearly $1 million, stands as proof that opportunity favors those who know what to look for. So take this moment seriously. Explore your coins. Reclaim your curiosity. Step into the thriving world of rare coin wealth. Because somewhere in America, someone is about to uncover the next $1 million piece. And there is absolutely no reason why it shouldn't be you. Imagine waking up one morning, reaching into an old drawer, and discovering a small, ordinary-looking Washington quarter that ends up being worth nearly $1 million. Sounds unbelievable, right? And yet, right now, a rare 1983 Philadelphia Mint Washington quarter error coin has commanded a jaw-dropping market value of $974,000, almost $1 million for 25 cents. If that doesn't make you want to check every coin in your house, nothing will. Stay with me, because the story behind this coin isn't just about metal and mint marks, it's about missed opportunities, hidden wealth, and the moment that turns an everyday person into someone living a truly wealthy lifestyle. Welcome to a journey that may very well begin with the coins already sitting in your pocket. And if you're thinking, come on, how lucky can someone get? Well, here's your first pattern interrupt. Have you ever checked the dates on your quarters, or are you still trusting your luck like someone who microwaves metal and hopes for the best? Today, we're going to change that forever. Act 1, The Discovery. Our story begins in 1983. A year when nobody was thinking about million-dollar quarters. The economy was shifting, collectors were distracted, and coin errors slipped through the cracks of the U.S. Mint. One particular coin, a Washington quarter with the 1983 P Mint mark, emerged with a striking error so unique, so dramatic, that decades later it has exploded into one of the most sought-after rarities in the entire coin collecting world. But like all great treasures, its value remained invisible, hidden in jars, drawers, wallets, and pockets across America. For years, it went unnoticed, unappreciated, untouched. And yet the value was always there, silently waiting for the right collector, the right moment, the right spark. Before we move on, answer this honestly. When was the last time you checked a quarter from the 1980s? Exactly. That silence right there? That's what lost millions sound like. Act 2, The Rise. Fast forward to today, when collectors, investors, and wealth builders are competing fiercely for rare coins. With demand skyrocketing, the rare 1983 P Washington quarter error has become a symbol of untapped wealth. It's not just a coin, it's a golden opportunity hidden in plain sight. The distinct minting error on this quarter, produced by a striking mistake unique to that year, transformed it into a masterpiece of rarity. Wealthy collectors crave it. Auctions battle for it. Investors chase it because its scarcity signals prestige and legacy. This quarter didn't just rise in value, it rocketed into the elite tier of American numismatic treasures, reaching a staggering market value of $974,000. If your heart didn't beat a little faster hearing that, check your pulse. You might be a vending machine. But here's the emotional twist: while others are out there finding treasures, many people still ignore the old jars and drawers filled with coins that could change their lives. That fear of missing out isn't just a thought, it's real. Because for every person who finds a coin like this, thousands throw away their chance without even knowing it. Act 3, The Transformation. This is where you come in. Imagine discovering that the path to wealth isn't always found in business deals, investment portfolios, or complicated strategies. Sometimes, it begins with something as simple as a forgotten quarter. Think of the people who picked up their change at a diner decades ago, unaware that they were holding a future fortune. Their stories didn't end with surprise, they continued into new lifestyles, new opportunities, and new financial freedom. Now imagine your story being next. Not someday. Not maybe. But now. Because these rare coins are in high demand, and the market is hotter than ever. Serious buyers are ready, auction houses are competing, and the window, like every opportunity in life, is open only for a limited time. Wealth doesn't reward hesitation. It rewards action. Before we close, let me interrupt your thoughts for one last attention reset. If I told you your old change could pay off your mortgage, fund a new home, or let you retire early, would you still be sitting there casually flipping a coin like you're in a 90s gangster movie? No, you'd be searching every corner of your home like a detective trying to solve the mystery of hidden wealth. So here's the final connection, the moment where everything comes together. You're not just learning about a coin. You're learning about possibility. You're learning that wealth can appear where you least expect it. You're discovering that the life you want, the wealthy lifestyle, the freedom, the security, might be closer than you think. The 1983 P Washington quarter error worth $974,000 isn't just a story. It's a signal. A wake-up call. A reminder that fortunes hide in the ordinary, and the extraordinary belongs to those who look for it. Your journey doesn't start when you find the coin. It starts right now, with awareness, with curiosity, and with the decision to never overlook the opportunities in front of you again. So get ready. Search your coins. Explore your collections. And step boldly into the world where small discoveries lead to massive wealth, because the next $1 million coin might already be in your hands. Act 1 begins with a question most people never expect to change their lives. What if the spare change in your kitchen drawer, the one you haven't touched in years, holds a hidden treasure worth $964,000? Yes, you heard that right. A single 1998 P Washington quarter, a rare mint era variety, has taken the collector's market by storm, shocking experts and sending waves of excitement across the coin world. If you've been holding onto old coins, today might be the moment you discover that your forgotten pocket change could be your ticket to a wealthy new chapter. And don't worry, we're just getting started. Stay with me, you're about to learn why this coin is capturing national attention and why it might change your financial narrative forever. The story of the 1998 P Mint Mark Washington quarter doesn't begin in a museum or inside a millionaire's vault. It begins in the US Mint itself, where, thanks to a highly unusual and extremely rare minting anomaly, a tiny error transformed an ordinary quarter into one of the most sought-after coins of the decade. Most people never notice such subtle features. But collectors? They see gold where others see nothing. And you? Well, after this video, you'll look at your change with an entirely new perspective. But before we go deeper, let me ask you a pattern-interrupting question. Have you ever wondered why the most valuable objects in life are the ones we almost throw away? I mean, how many times did you toss a quarter into a jar thinking it was worth exactly 25 cents? If only jars could talk. Act 2 pulls us into the heart of the story, where discovery meets destiny. Across the United States, people in their 30s all the way to their mid-60s are searching, sorting, and selling old coins, transforming small finds into six-figure moments. The 1998 P error quarter is the crown jewel of that movement. The reason it has exploded in demand is because this particular mint mistake dramatically limits the number of surviving specimens, making collectors almost desperate to obtain one. And desperate collectors mean skyrocketing prices. Imagine opening a forgotten drawer, finding a quarter, and realizing it's worth more than most homes in America. That shock, that rush, that disbelief, those moments are happening right now for everyday Americans who simply knew what to look for. But with great opportunity comes a hidden emotion: fear. Not fear of missing out on $1 million lifestyle, but fear of not recognizing the coin sitting right under your nose. Imagine knowing this video could be the difference between cashing in or accidentally spending a $964,000 treasure on a vending machine soda. And just to reset the attention here, let's add a little humor. If you've ever bought a Pepsi for 25 cents, congratulations, you officially time-traveled from 1983, and we're thrilled you joined us. But joking aside, the urgency is real. High-demand coins like this don't just stay on the market forever. They disappear into private collections, never to return. As collectors, investors, and wealthy enthusiasts battle for the rarest pieces, each new sale sets a stronger precedent. Every time one of these 1998 P error quarters surfaces, the price climbs higher. The market has made it absolutely clear: this coin is hot, desirable, and extremely limited. If you have one, you're holding power. If you find one today, you're witnessing the moment your financial story flips from ordinary to extraordinary. And if you're searching, you're already ahead of the millions who never realized coins could build generational wealth. Act 3 brings everything full circle. This is where inspiration meets action. The greatest successes in life aren't found by people who wait for luck, they're found by those who open their eyes to opportunity. This rare 1998 P Washington quarter isn't just a coin, it's a symbol of what happens when hidden value meets the right moment. Every viewer watching this, yes, including you, has the chance to uncover something life-changing. The wealthy lifestyle so many dream about doesn't always begin with a lottery ticket or a big business deal. Sometimes, it begins with a simple moment of curiosity, a moment where you pause, you look, and you discover. And to interrupt your thinking for one last attention reset, let me ask, why should someone else find their treasure while you let yours slip by? You're already here. You're already searching. You already want more for your life, your future, your family, and your legacy. This is your moment. The market is strong. The demand is fierce. The opportunity is real. The only question left is, what will you do with it? So as we close this journey, hold on to this powerful truth. Every great fortune begins with awareness, intention, and action. The 1998 P quarter has proven itself as one of the most valuable error coins in modern American history, commanding nearly $1 million and captivating serious collectors across the nation. If you have this coin, protect it. If you find it, secure it. And if you're searching, keep going, because your breakthrough could be just one coin away. Imagine this for a moment. You open an old jar of coins tucked away in the back of a drawer, the same one you've ignored for years, and inside is a simple Washington quarter that looks just like any other. But that single coin, yes, the one you almost gave to the cashier for a cup of coffee, is worth more than a house, more than most people earn in an entire lifetime. Today, we're talking about the astonishing 1965 no-mint mark Washington quarter, a coin that the market is valuing at an electrifying $963,000. And if that didn't grab your attention, don't worry, it's supposed to. Because the truth is, you could be sitting on a fortune without even realizing it. Act 1 begins here, where curiosity meets destiny. The story of the 1965 quarter is unlike anything else in American coinage. This isn't just a minting accident or an everyday die flaw. This is the product of an era of transition when the US Mint was shifting from silver to clad coinage, when deadlines were relentless, when mistakes weren't just possible, they were inevitable. And somewhere in that tension, that pressure-packed environment, a small number of 1,965 quarters were struck under conditions that produced something extraordinary. Most people will live their entire lives handling pocket change without ever once noticing anything beyond its face value. But the collectors who know what to look for, they're the ones building wealth quietly, strategically, and often unexpectedly. And now you're about to join them. Before we go deeper, let me ask you something as a quick pattern interrupt. Have you ever wondered why grocery stores still hand out coins even though nobody likes carrying them? Because sometimes, the universe wants to drop a treasure in your palm while you're thinking about something else. So if you've ever brushed off a coin as just another quarter, don't feel bad. Most people also brush off gym memberships, taxes, and red flags in relationships. But unlike those, this one could actually make you wealthy. Act 2 is where awareness evolves into opportunity. Let's talk about the error itself and why this coin is commanding relentless demand from serious collectors. The 1965 no-mint mark Washington quarter exists in extremely limited quantity. We're discussing a coin born in silence, slipped through the minting process without the stamp that proves where it came from. That lack of a mint mark isn't a flaw, it's a signature. A signature of rarity. A signature of value. A signature of wealth waiting to be claimed. And today's market, fueled by collectors aged 30 to 65 who are buying aggressively, is treating these pieces like gold mines disguised as pocket change. Right now, the high-end numismatic market is experiencing one of the strongest demand surges in decades. People are waking up to the reality that old coins are not just nostalgic, they are assets. Tangible assets that rise in value, hold authority, and offer an entry point into a lifestyle of financial freedom. And yes, this specific quarter, graded, authenticated, and verified, is selling for as high as $963,000. That's not hype. That's not wishful thinking. That is the current appetite of collectors who are willing to pay life-changing sums for the right pieces. Ask yourself for a moment, what would you do if something as ordinary as a 1965 quarter was the key that unlocked a dream you've been postponing? A bigger home, a better retirement, a business you've always wanted to start, or maybe something simpler, peace of mind. Sounds exciting, right? It should. Because excitement is the first sign that a door is opening. But let's reset the attention again with a little humor. Imagine trying to explain to your friends that your financial breakthrough came from a coin worth 25 cents. They'd laugh until you show them the check. Now we enter Act 3, the resolution, the moment where possibility becomes action. The number one mistake people make is assuming they don't have rare coins, simply because they've never looked. But you're not here to make that mistake. You're here because you understand that wealth favors the informed, the prepared, the curious. And now, the responsibility shifts to you. Check your drawers. Check your old jars. Check those rolls of coins you tossed into a shoebox years ago. Because the next great quarter, the next six-figure discovery, the next life-changing coin could be sitting right where you left it, and if you happen to find a 1965 Washington quarter with the right characteristics, do not hesitate. Coin dealers, auction houses, and private collectors are moving fast, very fast. The market is hot, the demand is strong, and opportunities are being claimed every single day. You don't want yours to slip through your fingers. Because in the world of rare coins, timing is everything. Missing out isn't just disappointing, it's expensive. As we close, remember this: wealth doesn't always come from working harder. Sometimes, it comes from recognizing what's all right. From the moment you clicked on this video, something inside you whispered that today might be different. And it is. Because today, we're talking about a small piece of metal that most people overlook, yet one rare example recently shocked collectors when it surfaced with a staggering current market value of $976,000. Yes, nearly $1 million for a single 25-cent coin. And no, this isn't fantasy, hype, or rumor. This is the real story of the USA 1980p Washington quarter-dollar error coin that has the rare coin world buzzing. So if you have old change tucked away, or a forgotten box of coins from a parent or grandparent, pay attention closely, because what you find next could rewrite your financial story. Act 1 begins in the most ordinary place, an everyday pocket. The 1980p quarter was minted at a time when millions of Americans were rushing through life, never once imagining that the change jangling in their pockets could carry wealth beyond imagination. But this particular coin, this rare, error-struck survivor, slipped through the cracks of routine. It carries a minting flaw so unique that collectors today will stop conversations, skip meals, and even travel across states just to authenticate one. And you might laugh at that level of obsession, but when a coin is worth $976,000, suddenly everyone wants to be an expert. By the way, if you're wondering whether you've ever accidentally spent a fortune on a coffee because you handed one of these over, well, congratulations, you've just triggered the fear every collector secretly lives with. But stay with me, because the story only gets better, and before we continue, the pattern interrupt you didn't know you needed. Have you ever met someone who says, coins don't matter? Yeah, those people also microwave their pizza rolls and try to fix Wi-Fi by yelling at it. Let's move on. Act 2 draws us into discovery. Imagine someone sorting through a container of coins, something you or I might do half-heartedly on a quiet evening. Suddenly a detail catches the eye. A misplaced strike. A doubled edge. A misaligned die. A flawed mint mark unique to the Philadelphia Mint. Something not meant to exist in the perfect machinery of coin production. A flaw so rare it turns a simple quarter into a once-in-a-generation treasure. This is where excitement surges, because the difference between a normal 1980p quarter worth 25 cents and the error version worth nearly $1 million can hinge on millimeters. You don't need a degree in numismatics. You don't need expensive tools. You need curiosity, patience, and the willingness to believe that wealth can hide in plain sight. Collectors today are not just searching, they're hunting. The demand is higher than ever, as more Americans realize that old coins are not relics of the past, they are assets of the future. But here's the urgency that fuels late-night coin searches across the country. Once these rare error coins are found and claimed, they're gone forever. The window is closing. Every year, fewer of these rare 1980p errors remain undiscovered. And the next person to find one? It could be someone watching this video right now. Just so your attention gets a quick reset, here's a question: did you just feel the sudden need to check every coin you've ever touched? If yes, welcome to the club. If not, don't worry, you will by the time this video ends. Act 3 brings us to transformation. Wealth is not always created in glamorous ways. It doesn't only come from businesses, investments, or real estate. Sometimes it comes from the overlooked corners of your own home, from a drawer, a jar, a dusty box you haven't opened in years. And maybe you're here because you want more than just financial comfort. Maybe you want freedom. Maybe you want to provide your family with the security they deserve. Maybe you're determined to step into a wealthier version of your life, one where opportunity finds you because you've finally learned what to look for. This coin, the 1980p error quarter, is more than metal. It is a symbol of what happens when the world misses something, but someone determined enough finds it. It is proof that timing, rarity, and awareness can collide to change a person's entire reality in a single moment. And the best part? You are now one of the few people who know the truth about its value. So as you finish this video, don't let the moment fade. Search your coins. Explore your old collections. Ask relatives about boxes tucked away in closets or attics. Because the next major discovery is out there, and it always goes to the person who decides that today is the day they stop doubting and start looking. What will you find? What will you uncover? And what story will you tell when your 25-cent treasure turns into a life-changing reward worth $976,000? The answer is waiting. And so is the opportunity. What if the life-changing money you've been searching for has been sitting in a small forgotten jar, inside your own home? Today's story isn't about luck. It's about opportunity hidden in plain sight. Because somewhere out there, a simple 1992 Washington quarter dollar, a coin most people have touched 1,000 times, is shaking the coin market with a current value soaring to an unbelievable $975,000. Yes, nearly $1 million for 25 cents. And if that doesn't make your heart beat faster, stick with me, because the truth behind this coin could change the direction of your financial future. Act 1 opens with the world most people live in: busy, predictable, familiar. A world where daily routines bury potential treasures under layers of dust. But for a small group of people, those who take one extra step, who look 1 second longer, life transforms. They discover what the rest of the world walks past. And that's where our story begins. One tiny minting error in 1992 created a rare anomaly that slipped silently into circulation. An error so subtle, even seasoned collectors didn't notice it at first. But those who did, their lives were never the same again. Imagine the feeling of picking up a coin, a routine moment, and realizing it carries the power to pay off a mortgage, erase debt, or launch a long-delayed dream. That moment isn't fantasy. It's happening right now for the people who know exactly what to look for. But before we go deeper, let me interrupt the seriousness with a quick pattern reset. Have you ever wondered why we lose socks in the dryer but never coins? Maybe because the universe knows some coins are too valuable to disappear. And after today, you'll never look at your change the same way again. Act 1 closes with a rising sense of curiosity, a whisper of urgency pushing our audience forward. Because somewhere, maybe in their home, maybe in their wallet, maybe in the cup holder of their car, sits a quarter no one recognized for its true worth. Act 2 begins with the tension that every strong transformation requires. The coin market is evolving faster than ever, and collectors are hunting aggressively. Demand is at its highest point in decades, and rare quarter errors from the early 90s are surging. When the 1992 Washington quarter with its minting flaw first appeared at auction, experts didn't just raise eyebrows, they recalibrated the entire marketplace. The value didn't move slowly. It leapt. And with it came fear, the fear that the window of opportunity could close at any moment. People waited years for a coin like this to appear again. Years of anticipation, of speculation, of scanning markets and collections hoping another would surface. Then it did. And when the next verified piece sold for nearly $1 million, something shifted. Suddenly, Americans everywhere started combing through drawers and old coin jars with a renewed intensity. That's when excitement began turning into action. Because the collectors who understand timing and those who act quickly are the ones positioned to win big. Every day someone hesitates as another day someone else finds the treasure meant for them. Now comes another pattern interrupt. If you're suddenly thinking about sprinting to the nearest drawer, don't worry, you're not alone. Even professional collectors admit they've spilled containers of coins across their tables the moment they learned about this error. So if your fingers are twitching, that just means your instincts are waking up. The story deepens as Act 2 builds toward emotional height. This coin isn't simply rare, it's iconic. The error itself is a product of stamped misalignment and a unique die flaw that slipped through the Denver Mint's quality control during a brief production window. A perfect storm that created the kind of scarcity collectors dream about. The kind of scarcity that skyrockets value. The demand is fierce. Wealth builders, investors, and high-level collectors are all chasing the same tiny piece of metal. And that chase is driving the price upward, pushing the current market value to the powerful number we see today, $975,000. Every validated listing creates urgency. Every auction ignites competition. Every discovery tightens the supply. Which means the next person to find one could step directly into a life-altering moment. Act 3 emerges with clarity and strength. This is where the story turns from information to transformation. Because now the viewer knows the truth, that one coin, one moment of awareness, one small action can shift their entire financial trajectory. Imagine the impact. A life where wealth isn't a fantasy but a choice. A life where you turn items forgotten by the world into assets that elevate your future. A life where you become the kind of person who recognizes value where others see nothing. That's what rare coin collectors understand. And that's what successful sellers master. And here's the twist: the story isn't just about a quarter. It's about recognizing that fortune favors those who move. Your coins, your collection, your curiosity, all of it connects to this moment. This quarter is proof that opportunity isn't distant or reserved for the lucky. It's here, it's real, and it might already be in your possession. But ask yourself one final question: if you knew a single coin in your home was worth nearly $1 million, how fast would you start looking for it? The screen darkens, the music swells, and you feel the spark of urgency in your chest. Because time is moving, collectors are searching, markets are rising, and the next big discovery is waiting for the person bold enough to reach for it. You are closer to that moment than you think. The screen glows softly as the music rises, steady and powerful, and we open with a single line designed to stop every viewer in their tracks. What if the life-changing money you've been searching for has been sitting in a small forgotten jar, inside your own home? Today's story isn't about luck. It's about opportunity hidden in plain sight. Because somewhere out there, a simple 1992 D Washington quarter dollar, a coin most people have touched 1,000 times, is shaking the coin market with a current value soaring to an unbelievable $975,000. Yes, nearly $1 million, for 25 cents. And if that doesn't make your heart beat faster, stick with me, because the truth behind this coin could change the direction of your financial future. Act 1 opens with the world most people live in: busy, predictable, familiar. A world where daily routines bury potential treasures under layers of dust. But for a small group of people, those who take one extra step, who look 1 second longer, life transforms. They discover what the rest of the world walks past. And that's where our story begins. One tiny minting error in 1992 created a rare anomaly that slipped silently into circulation. An error so subtle, even seasoned collectors didn't notice it at first. But those who did, their lives were never the same again. Imagine the feeling of picking up a coin, a routine moment, and realizing it carries the power to pay off a mortgage, erase debt, or launch a long-delayed dream. That moment isn't fantasy. It's happening right now for the people who know exactly what to look for. But before we go deeper, let me interrupt the seriousness with a quick pattern reset. Have you ever wondered why we lose socks in the dryer but never coins? Maybe because the universe knows some coins are too valuable to disappear. And after today, you'll never look at your change the same way again. Act 1 closes with a rising sense of curiosity, a whisper of urgency pushing our audience forward. Because somewhere, maybe in their home, maybe in their wallet, maybe in the cup holder of their car, sits a quarter no one recognized for its true worth. Act 2 begins with the tension that every strong transformation requires. The coin market is evolving faster than ever, and collectors are hunting aggressively. Demand is at its highest point in decades, and rare quarter errors from the early 90s are surging. When the 1992 D Washington quarter with its minting flaw first appeared at auction, experts didn't just raise eyebrows, they recalibrated the entire marketplace. The value didn't move slowly. It leapt. And with it came fear, the fear that the window of opportunity could close at any moment. People waited years for a coin like this to appear again. Years of anticipation, of speculation, of scanning markets and collections hoping another would surface. Then it did. And when the next verified piece sold for nearly $1 million, something shifted. Suddenly, Americans everywhere started combing through drawers and old coin jars with a renewed intensity. That's when excitement began turning into action. Because the collectors who understand timing and those who act quickly are the ones positioned to win big. Every day someone hesitates as another day someone else finds the treasure meant for them. Now comes another pattern interrupt. If you're suddenly thinking about sprinting to the nearest drawer, don't worry, you're not alone. Even professional collectors admit they've spilled containers of coins across their tables the moment they learned about this error. So if your fingers are twitching, that just means your instincts are waking up. The story deepens as Act 2 builds toward emotional height. This coin isn't simply rare, it's iconic. The error itself is a product of stamped misalignment and a unique die flaw that slipped through the Denver Mint's quality control during a brief production window. A perfect storm that created the kind of scarcity collectors dream about. The kind of scarcity that skyrockets value. The demand is fierce. Wealth builders, investors, and high-level collectors are all chasing the same tiny piece of metal. And that chase is driving the price upward, pushing the current market value to the powerful number we see today, $975,000. Every validated listing creates urgency. Every auction ignites competition. Every discovery tightens the supply. Which means the next person to find one could step directly into a life-altering moment. Act 3 emerges with clarity and strength. This is where the story turns from information to transformation. Because now the viewer knows the truth, that one coin, one moment of awareness, one small action can shift their entire financial trajectory. Imagine the impact. A life where wealth isn't a fantasy but a choice. A life where you turn items forgotten by the world into assets that elevate your future. A life where you become the kind of person who recognizes value where others see nothing. That's what rare coin collectors understand. And that's what successful sellers master. And here's the twist: the story isn't just about a quarter. It's about recognizing that fortune favors those who move. Your coins, your collection, your curiosity, all of it connects to this moment. This quarter is proof that opportunity isn't distant or reserved for the lucky. It's here, it's real, and it might already be in your possession. But ask yourself one final question: if you knew a single coin in your home was worth nearly $1 million, how fast would you start looking for it? The screen darkens, the music swells, and you feel the spark of urgency in your chest. Because time is moving, collectors are searching, markets are rising, and the next big discovery is waiting for the person bold enough to reach for it. You are closer to that moment than you think. Act 1 opens in total darkness. A single quarter spins slowly into the frame, catching a glint of light. The narrator's voice enters with calm authority, the type that makes you feel like you're about to discover something life-changing. Before you spend another coin today, stop. Because somewhere in America, maybe inside an old kitchen drawer, maybe lost in the cup holder of a forgotten car, a simple 1971 Washington quarter is waiting to be found. A quarter carrying a rare mint error so powerful, so jaw-dropping, that collectors are chasing it with offers as high as $987,000. Yes, nearly $1 million, for 25 cents. The moment lands with silence. Then the narrator leans in metaphorically, and if you think that sounds unbelievable, then ask yourself this: who decided that small things can't change big futures? Because today, that belief ends. The camera shifts to dramatic close-ups of old jars, coin rolls, and dusty cigar boxes. The tone deepens. Thousands of Americans have old coins lying around right now, coins they never look at, coins they assume are worthless. But the truth? Wealth hides in the ordinary. And sometimes, the universe disguises opportunity as pocket change. A soft pattern interrupt enters. Honestly, who knew that one day you'd be checking your couch cushions like a detective who missed his calling? The gentle humor resets attention while keeping momentum, then the emotional hook tightens, because here is where the fear creeps in. What if you already had a rare coin like this, and you spent it? What if it slipped through your fingers and into a vending machine for a bag of chips you didn't even enjoy? The kind of tiny mistake that costs nearly $1 million? Today, we make sure that never happens again. Act 2 opens with a deliberate rise in energy. A powerful soundtrack swells under the narrator's voice. The 1971 Washington quarter is no ordinary coin. This specific rare error, struck in a way that defies normal minting patterns, has become one of the most hunted treasures in modern numismatics. Collectors aren't just interested. They're obsessed. They're competing. They're watching auction platforms like hawks because the moment one appears, it disappears into a private collection almost instantly. The camera glides over dramatic macro shots of the 1971 highlighting details. This quarter represents more than money. It represents timing, opportunity, and the kind of once-in-a-generation discovery that people talk about for years. Another pattern interrupt fires subtly, and honestly, if your heart isn't beating faster right now, check your pulse. You might be a robot. Then the narrator continues, weaving tension and excitement. Collectors pay extraordinary prices because error coins are the unpredictable miracles of the mint. They aren't planned. They aren't duplicated. They aren't repeatable. Once they're found, that's it. The supply is over. And scarcity drives value. That's why this coin stands tall at a staggering $987,000. Because demand isn't simply high, it's competitive, fierce, and growing stronger by the day. Now the script deepens emotionally. Think about what that means for you. This isn't about luck. It's about awareness. It's about choosing to look closer instead of walking past opportunity. It's about realizing you don't need millions to start, you just need to recognize the $1 million chance is already around you. The music softens. People dream of financial freedom. They dream of wealth, of security, of stepping into the lifestyle they always felt they deserved, but most never take the small actions that unlock the big doors. Yet here you are, learning, searching, opening your mind. And that alone puts you ahead of the crowd. Act 3 begins with a decisive shift toward inspiration and urgency, so let me ask you something. What if this coin, this 1971 D Mint Error Quarter, was already in your home? What if your future wealth isn't something you earn, but something you discover? A treasure waiting for your attention? Because the people living comfortably, the people building wealth, the people stepping into their dream lifestyle, they aren't waiting for miracles. They're looking for them. The voice becomes firm, direct, and right now, collectors are hungrier than ever. The market is hot. The demand is rising. Rare coins like this are being bought faster than they appear. If there were ever a moment to take action, it is now. The script connects everything together with one emotional line: your life can change when you decide to stop treating the ordinary as ordinary. A final light-hearted pattern interrupt slips in, and let's be honest, if the idea of turning a quarter into $987,000 doesn't excite you, I'm worried nothing will. The video now nears its climax. Go check your coins. Check the jars, the boxes, the drawers. Check everything. Because this is how wealth reveals itself, not with grand announcements, but with quiet opportunities wrapped in the simplest forms. The 1971 D Washington Quarter error is rare, but it is real. An opportunity doesn't knock twice. Now, with complete confidence, the narrator adds the closing charge: you are one discovery away from rewriting your financial story. So take this moment seriously. Be curious. Be bold. And remember, every wealthy life begins with a decision. Today, make yours. The final line echoes over a slow fade out, because somewhere, someone is going to find that $987,000 quarter, and there's no reason it shouldn't be you. Imagine reaching into an old jar of pocket change and pulling out a coin that could rewrite your financial future. A single 1995 D Washington quarter, yes, the same design you've held thousands of times, recently shocked collectors with a staggering market value of $986,000. That's the kind of life-changing discovery most people dream about, but only a few ever take seriously. And yet, here you are, about to discover how that extraordinary opportunity might be sitting quietly inside your own home, waiting to be found. Today, we dive into the thrilling story of one of the most unexpected, high-value coin errors in modern U.S. history. Our story begins in 1995, inside the Denver Mint, an industrial world of machinery, metal, and relentless precision. Every coin is expected to be perfect, predictable, identical. But fate has a strange sense of humor. In the middle of that strict, high-speed production line, a rare mechanical misalignment created something extraordinary. A small error. A tiny deviation invisible to most. Yet priceless to the trained eye. Think of it like discovering that one chocolate chip in your cookie is actually a diamond. Unexpected. Unlikely. But real collectors call it a transitional strike error, a once-in-a-generation anomaly that slipped through undetected. For decades, people spent these quarters on groceries, gas, and morning coffee. Imagine casually handing over $1 million coin to pay for a donut. If that thought doesn't make you check every quarter in your house, I don't know what will. This single error quietly moved through hands, pockets, drawers, and piggy banks until one determined collector recognized the truth. And when the coin resurfaced, the market erupted with excitement. It wasn't just another rare quarter. It was a symbol of timing, knowledge, and destiny aligning. Now the real heat begins. When this miraculous 1995 D-era quarter was authenticated, every serious collector, investor, and auction house leaned forward. The bidding floor didn't just buzz, it roared. This wasn't simply about owning a rare coin, it was about holding a piece of minting history that defied all expectations. And the final hammer price? A jaw-dropping $986,000. Here's where the emotional roller coaster tightens its tracks, because this isn't an isolated fairy tale. Many life-changing coin discoveries have been made by everyday people who were just cleaning out old boxes, sorting change, or checking coins passed down from parents and grandparents. People just like you. But here's the twist, the urgency moment you can't ignore. These rare era coins are becoming harder and harder to find as collectors snap them up, grade them, and lock them away in private vaults. Every day that passes is another day someone else might discover the next $1 million era coin, a coin that could have been yours. And yes, here comes your pattern interrupt. If you're suddenly tempted to raid your sofa cushions right now, don't worry, finish the video first. Then tear your house apart. I won't blame you, because as demand skyrockets and auction prices soar, this handful of surviving 1995 D-era quarters has become the treasure everyone wants, and only a few will ever hold. This is where your story and the coin story collide. Because what this $1 million quarter represents is bigger than metal, mint marks, or minting accidents. It represents possibility. It represents leverage. It represents the lifestyle shift so many people dream about, the one where wealth doesn't come only from grinding work, but from recognizing opportunities others overlook, the kind of opportunities sitting in old jars, dusty boxes, inherited collections, and forgotten drawers across America. Imagine finding a coin like this and suddenly paying off your mortgage, wiping out debt, or elevating your lifestyle to the level you always knew you were meant to live. Imagine turning something ordinary into something extraordinary simply because you chose to look a little closer. And here's your final pattern interrupt, because someone out there always thinks, this won't happen to me. Well, the last person who said that ended up selling a quarter for close to $1 million. So if you want to stay skeptical, just do it after checking all your spare change. Collectors, investors, and auction houses are actively hunting for high-grade 1995 D-era quarters right now. The demand is powerful, the market is hot, and the window of opportunity is open. But like all great opportunities, it won't stay open forever. Your next move is simple. Look. Search. Examine. Take seriously what others ignore. Because you never know which moment will become the one that changes everything. As you close this video, remember, wealth doesn't only come from what you earn. Sometimes it comes from what you discover. And your discovery might be waiting, hidden in plain sight. Imagine holding a coin in your hand, ordinary at first glance, yet it could change your life forever. A coin that slipped through the cracks of history, unnoticed by millions, now quietly commanding a staggering $986,000 on the collector's market. Today, we're diving into the extraordinary story of the 1993 D-Mint Mark Washington $quarter coin era, a coin that has become the holy grail for serious collectors and wealthy investors alike. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll understand why people are paying nearly $1 million for something that looks, at first, like pocket change. Now, before we get lost in numbers and mint marks, let me ask you, have you ever wondered if something you own, sitting quietly in your drawer, could be worth a fortune? Funny question, right? But the truth is stranger than fiction. And trust me, you won't want to miss this. The 1993 D Washington quarter seems ordinary on the surface. But what makes this coin extraordinary is a rare minting error, one that makes it stand out from every other quarter minted that year. Errors like this are like whispers from history, secret signs that the universe sometimes sends only a few lucky collectors. Imagine the excitement of holding one, knowing it's one of the rarest coins in existence. It's not just a coin, it's a symbol of fortune, a tangible piece of American history, and a potential ticket to wealth beyond imagination. Collectors and investors alike scramble when one of these surfaces. Why? Because the market demand is insane. The rarity of the error, combined with the condition and provenance, turns these coins into coveted treasures. And here's the part most people don't realize, it's not just about luck. The moment you recognize an opportunity, the clock starts ticking. Delay, and someone else could claim a fortune that was once within your grasp. And honestly, how often do you get a chance to hold history in your hand and know it could literally pay for a lifetime of freedom? Now, I know what you might be thinking, a quarter. Really? But here's a little secret: sometimes, the most powerful things are hidden in plain sight. Like a diamond in a pile of pebbles. And in this story, the 1993 D quarter is exactly that diamond. It's one of those rare moments when history, rarity, and opportunity collide, creating a perfect storm for wealth creation. By the way, if you're watching this and thinking, well, I'm never going to find one of those, let me tell you, it's possible. You might already own one without knowing. Yes, your loose change could be a millionaire waiting to be discovered. Pause for effect. Crazy, right? But that's exactly what makes this so thrilling. Collectors who recognize these coins understand one thing: time is everything. The value is not only in the rarity but in the awareness of it. Every day, these coins are snapped up by savvy investors, and the window to acquire one is shrinking. Owning a 1993 D Mint Mark Washington quarter error is not just owning a piece of metal, it's holding a piece of America, a piece of history, and a nearly priceless asset. And here's the ultimate truth: coins like this don't wait. They're hunted, coveted, and sold for nearly $1 million because the market recognizes their unmatched scarcity and historical significance. The excitement, the fear of missing out, the sheer joy of holding something so rare, it's electrifying. For those with the vision to see opportunity, this coin is not just an investment, it's a legacy. So, if you have a 1993 D quarter tucked away somewhere, or even a drawer of old coins, it's time to look closely. Examine them. Research them. Because one small coin could open the door to extraordinary possibilities. And the clock? It's ticking. The opportunity is rare, the demand is fierce, and the rewards are unmatched. Remember, history rewards the bold. And sometimes, the boldest move you make is to recognize treasure when it's quietly waiting in your hand.